It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning and welcome to this January 11th edition of City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM. My name is Stuart Walter and my guest this morning is Mayor Dennis Fenske.
Good morning.
Let's start out by talking about the grant in lieu. Could you give us your thoughts on the debate that happened? You joined the meeting by phone, but you could hear what was going on and what was said, and your thoughts on the new agreement which is on the table.
Yeah, so we passed by resolution the grant in lieu that was presented to us from Valley Canada. There is significant reductions as was outlined in the meeting, with a 20% reduction in the first year and a 50% reduction in year 2, 3, and 4, with a escalator in year 2 that could correct some if Valley is cash flow positive in that given year. But the debate and the discussion was as anticipated. No big surprises. There are still some councillors that think that this is a negotiation. It's not. It's never has been, never will be. It's an agreement between the province of Manitoba and Inco at the time, now Valley Canada. They have the ability through two parts within the agreement, based on headcount, to pay X number of dollars, and then on a voluntary basis to up that amount. And traditionally they have to a point, a peak of $7.5 million back in the 90s. They reduced from 7.5 to $6 million in the last two agreements, and this agreement they've reduced to the 4.8, 3, 3, and 3 over a 4-year deal. And so from that perspective, if anyone was under the illusion that this is a negotiation, it's not, as I stated. We can present our case in regards to the impacts of their business decision, but that's basically where our input is at.
You, as I said, you weren't at the meeting on last Tuesday because you were in Winnipeg to meet with Minister Pedersen the next day. Part of that was to discuss to see how the province could help make up any of that money that isn't going to be coming from Valet that was there before. Could you explain how the meeting went?
It went well. So what we're trying to do is the previous government had set up a community mining reserve fund specifically for these types of incidents, and they've been utilized in the past with a downturn in mining in Snow Lake, in Leaf Rapids, and Lynn Lake, and Rutan, and Flin Flon. And so the mining reserve fund basically has a base amount of $10 million. It is maintained by a portion of the mining tax that's paid by the mining companies in Manitoba, and the excess amount over $10 million can be used for mining exploration or mining related expenditures, as well as supporting those communities that are affected by either a downturn in market, a change in operation, a complete closure, those types of things. So our discussion was framed in that context. We are experiencing a loss of 700 jobs from Valet with the Birch Tree announcement on October 1st, 2017, and the remaining 500 jobs affected with the closure of the smelter and refinery and moving to a mine mill operation August 1st of 2018. And so that is a significant reduction in workforce, the largest reduction in workforce in many years in the mining community across Manitoba. And so we have opened the discussion with Minister Pedersen and his ministry in regards to accessing the mining reserve fund to mitigate the impact of the loss of revenues from the grant in lieu.
One of the things I didn't get to with Deputy Mayor Smook last week on City Beat was the 2018 capital and utility plans. There were two resolutions that were passed by Council. Could you explain what these resolutions are? Yeah,
these are annual resolutions. Basically, our budgets have to be to the province of Manitoba by May 15th, but we do early approvals of the budgets earlier in the year, in January of the current fiscal year. Our fiscal year is January 1st to December 31st, in order to take advantage of the tender process, get our tenders out at the same time or ahead of others in Manitoba. We're competing for services, and if we wait until May 15th, most tenders are out, and contractors have selected the jobs that they're going to do. And if we're bidding at that time, then we're going to pay a premium for that. So this is an annual resolution that this council and previous councils always passes in January to approve the capital and utility plans in principle, to move forward to allow administration to put tenders forward and get them out as soon as possible.
Looking ahead, there is a city council meeting coming up on Monday. The past two meetings have been fairly hectic and lengthy. A lot of big items on the agendas? Is it going to be the same thing on Monday, or is it going to be a fairly relaxed schedule compared to the last two meetings?
Well, I think the last two meetings, the one in December, that's a year end, and that's traditionally a little heavy, and also the first meeting in the new year is normally a little bit heavy. We should get back to normal going forward, although there's always incidents where they arise where things have to be added to the agenda. So, but from your question, moving forward, we should see the normal agenda level, and we should encourage, and I would encourage everyone to come out to the city council meetings that happen every second Monday at 7 p.m. at City Hall.
Public Works is a topic we talk about all the time. Snow removal is top of mind right now. I know even driving to work, the snowbanks along the side of Cree are getting really high and hard to see around. Is there any update on the removal of the snowbanks?
Absolutely, and no pun intended, the community is snowed under. We've got an excessive amount of snow. Our forces are doing their best to clear where we can. We will be removing snowbanks on a priority basis, and we'll be going forward from that perspective. So I would ask that people be patient, take the matter into your own hands as a driver, and be cognizant of pedestrians and other vehicles. One of the things that people have started to do, I know I start to do it, is I've started to back into my driveway so that when I pull out, I see coming out of the driveway a little better than trying to back out around a snowbank. So that's one of the safety measures that you can take. Other than that, be patient, especially in the school zones. I noticed yesterday, again, some kids are playing on the snowbanks along roadways. It doesn't take much to slip and slide off that snowbank into the traffic flow. So as a driver, just be cognizant of that. And with the snow removal, be aware of the larger equipment, the trucks and tandems and loaders and graders that will be around, and take care of it and drive to the conditions of the road.
Is there any update on the investigation of the fire at the Interior Inn?
Yeah, what I can say is that the Fire Commissioner's office was up and they conducted the investigation along with the RCMP and our local Fire and Emergencies Department. The structure itself will be eventually demolished for safety's sake from that perspective. I can say that the fire there was no injuries or loss of life in the fire, and from that perspective, we'll wait and see from an owner's perspective what the plans are, the current owner, moving forward in the replacement of that facility.
It's a relatively quiet weekend event-wise around the city. The North Stars are away for the weekend. Mun Cup and Winterfest are still a little ways away, but the midget AA King Miners are in town. Yes,
looks like they play against Cross Lake on Friday evening and against Norway House on Saturday afternoon. So again, if you want to see some really good hockey, AA King Miners midgets are in town. The TRCC is always a happening place, so please come down and support the kids. They always like to see fans in the seats, and you'll see some good hockey too.
And then finally, Winter Games. On Saturday, it's going to be 50 days until the games.
Absolutely. We've turned the corner. We're now into the new year. We continue to look for volunteers. We're on pace for what we need, but again, reminding everyone there is a process to sign up for volunteers that's electronic, and the YWCA is running a Steps for Success program daily that if you need help with the computer, you can drop down, and they will help you do the registrations, as well as through the Manitoba Games, they'll also assist anybody that wants to or needs some help in regards to putting the electronic registration in. They also have a storefront in regards to the merchandise, and this is at the Old People's location in the Center City Mall from 10 to 6 this Saturday, 10 to 4 every other Saturday. There's chances to win some game swag on Saturday. I believe Arctic Radio will be on site. A few different draws that you can buy tickets for as well, so support the games. And again, as every Friday is Fan Gear Friday, so share your pictures using the hashtag PlayNorth. Wear your hoodies or your T-shirts on Friday in whatever establishment you're at, and support the games.
Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning, Mayor Fenske.
Thank you.
If you have a question you'd like answered next week, email it in advance to CHTMnews@arcticradio.ca. For City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM, I'm Stuart Walter.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning.